Well, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Hey, it's nice to have you here today. I got something old on the table. Not fancy, not expensive. Interesting nonetheless. So this is the Buck 835 small Selkirk. This is about 7 or 8 years old at this point. It's 420 HC steel. It's steel liners. This is actually micarta made to look like wood. There's a whole Selkirk line. There's a large Selkirk folder. There's two fixed blades, small and large. Yeah, they're interesting. And I've had this knife, oh God, I don't know, for, well, at least 7 years. Long time. Recently I've been sort of singing the praises of the Highline series. The XL here, and the standard size. I love these. I really do. And it occurred to me that one of the reasons I'm so into them is because I want Buck to keep doing that. I would love for them to remake this knife in these materials. D2, do the thing. But this isn't bad. And they're only about 40 bucks, which I know, it's a lot. But you get steel bolsters, you get micarta, steel frame, it's a steel liner lock, as you can see. This is their 420 HC steel, which, yeah, it's nothing to write home about, but I've had this knife for a long time and it is still wickedly sharp. So let's take a look at it, just for fun, because I got stuff in my collection that sometimes I'll, you can see it's got a really crappy grind down here at the bottom. What are you gonna do? Heck, I've got a Buck 120 in S35VN. It's got the same crappy grind on it. It's Buck. To be fair, they're doing a much better job now. Anyway, let's take a look what you get on the 835 small Selkirk here. You get just about right at 3 inches of cutting on 3 1/4 inches of their 420 HC. I'm old enough to remember when 420 HC was high-end blade steel. You get 3 1/2 inches of grip, right? It's very comfortable, by the way. It's got this lovely swell right here, right? Very comfortable to hold. As I said, you get stainless steel bolsters. You get brown and black micarta on the scales. It comes with a deep carry clip. Stamped steel, but it works very well, and it is really deep carry, right? Let's take a look at that. Okay, that's annoying, thank you. All right, I mean, the knife just disappears in the pocket. Stuff like this is just cool. Now it's running on washers on the inside. I don't know that I've ever had to, it's got no play, and I've never had to adjust the blade on this thing. I love stuff like this. I do. And this is just proof that for all of the, and there have been many crappy knives that Buck has produced, every once in a while, they just sort of make something cool. And I hope they keep doing that. This caught my eye out of my collection of old stuff that's laying around, because if you don't love the pattern on this, right, maybe you don't like cleaver style blades, or I don't know, maybe it doesn't work for you, they have a much more traditional looking knife in a decent pocket size for about $43. You can get one of these on Amazon right now that will absolutely serve. And again, 420 HC is nobody's version of super steel anymore, but sure as hell does the job, right? All right, so where were we? Oh, okay, so we finished the overall grip size. The overall knife is just shy of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with the clip 7 1/2 inches overall. It's not too bad. Closed length, you're looking at 4 1/4. Doesn't chew up a ton of pocket space. We're looking at 1 1/4 inches, right? So it's got a nice pocket size. I've had this knife a long time, and it is still in really good shape. Thumb studs work really well, no problems there at all. Lockup is a little over 50% at this point. I've had this knife for quite some time. Yeah, I don't know. It's a budget knife that's done really well. It's got a couple of barrel spacers back here, some standoffs. The steel frame is milled out for weight, so it's not too bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? 40 bucks. I think it's a little overpriced. I do. But man, for all the knives that have come and gone from my collection, this thing continues to just be here. I've used this thing camping. It goes in my sort of bailout bag as an oh shit last minute knife. It's never come loose on me. It's never needed adjustment. If they produced, let's say in the $100 range, a version of this knife with good blade steel, but the same, everything else the same, I would be 100% on board. I really would. Let's do some size comparisons. Line it up there. So there's the standard size Highline. These knives are very, very similar in size. Here it is against the Highline XL. Obviously, it is smaller than that. Here it is against a full-size Griptilian, which is bigger. And finally, the Bug Out, which is actually going to be about the same size. Same basic cutting profile as well. Of course, S30V is nicer than 420HC, but this is $40. This is $140. Now, I know this is ultra light, right? So if you're looking for an ultra light knife, this is not the tool. But if you know somebody who's just getting into knives or needs a reliable tool for camping or hiking, and you don't want to spend a ton of money, and now I get it. There's a million options out there, of course. But if you wanted to get a buck knife, pick up a Selkirk. I don't know, I like the thing. I like it enough that I've kept it. That has to mean something. It's not fantastic. It's not a showstopper. Oh, and you can reverse the clip, by the way. It's got the, much like on the Highlines, it's got a cutout. You can just swap the clip around. Not on this one, excuse me, on this one. All right, it's got a little, you can just swap them out. It's nicely done. Anyway, shall we weigh it? Let's weigh it. I don't know, I just think it's fun. Ignore the fan. Turns out that the small Selkirk, 4.7 ounces for a 3-inch cutting. It's a little heavy, but it is relatively thick pieces of micarta on a steel frame. I know I don't sound that excited, but I don't know, it just trips me out that this thing has managed to survive in my collection in the face of, well, you know, just everything else, and I still have it. I mean, again, it has to mean something. You can, I'll put the Amazon link. If you're interested, you can find one of these today. My assumption is that you're going to get basically the same knife I have, even though it's 7 years later. I wish Buck would stay on this arc, this Highline arc of decent materials done really well, and redo this. Or maybe even upgrade it. Make it with a really, I mean, because it's so comfortable. It is stupidly comfortable in hand. Yeah, I love stuff like this. You know, something you just picked up at Big Five on your way to go camping because you needed a knife, and yet many years later, it's still in your collection or still in your pocket even, maybe in the glove box of your truck, and still doing its job. I mean, I suppose that's the biggest compliment you can pay a knife. Many years later, it's still doing its job. And that's where we're going to wrap it up. This is the Buck Small Selkirk. It's the Buck 835. You can find them on Amazon for about $44, $43 and change. And I'll put a link. If you're interested, check it out. If you're not, well, thanks for stopping by and watching. It can't all be ultra high-end weird stuff. Sometimes it's just a really nice working tool. Hope you guys are having a great day. We'll see you next time.